Hello, welcome to Model With Mel. This is our second episode. Technically, it's our third week in a row, but it's our second episode with this floor plan that we're about to work with tonight. We started it last week and we got pretty far. We imported the CAD file, we built our walls, placed our doors, and then we started to figure out how we wanted the roof to look, and we were able to figure out what the best workflow was for doing roofs with various different peaks. And today we're gonna keep developing the exterior. You know, that's my jam. I love the exterior. I love modeling all the details and bringing them to life within Revit so that they're just in all of your views, and then your renderings, if you use like a post-production, are spectacular because you have depth built out. So it's really just a win-win. You add more details and you know how to model them. And I'm excited to bring this project to life with you guys in Revit. We're going to be working on different things we could do today to break up the long roof. And we're going to be adding windows and seeing how that feels. So I'd love for you guys to say input, say what you like, say what you don't like. Let me know if you have any suggestions, you see a better move, you have an idea we want to try out. Say it in the chat, because this is a collaborative environment. This is a community. We work together. We work together to learn Revit. We work together to design. Like, I feel like creative people can isolate themselves in their work a lot. And so I'm really just looking for community vibes all around. So Model with Mel, come hang out with me. Let's talk about Revit. Obviously, that's what I'm using to model. Let's have fun. Let's design. And I'm going to switch you guys around now. If you want a better view of my screen, please head over to the YouTube channel and follow along there. This is live streaming my laptop to YouTube. You can see my face while I'm modeling, and you can see up close and personal every tool I'm clicking on, whereas it might not be as clear through the iPhone through Instagram. So I'm really excited. Let's get started. I've been thinking about this project all day, how excited I am to just keep working on it with you all and just bring it to life. So let's go. If you have any questions about how I do things, feel free to pop it down in the chat and I'll answer it to the best of my abilities. Here we go. Let's switch it around. All right, so I'm gonna move you guys over just a little bit. All right. And Instagram is all propped up. We are good to go, and we're streaming live to YouTube. So it's a little weird because my screen is like over here, so I'm not really looking at the webcam. So when you see me look over, it's because I'm looking over at my screen that I got up there with Revit, and I'm also looking over at my phone to see if anybody's talking on Instagram. So let me see. I'm recording the OBS screen because I normally have Revit on this display and it's set to the display. So let me see if I can switch it while I'm on live. Let me see. I should be able to just duplicate it to the secondary monitor. Perfect. And that is so bright on my face because it's a white screen. All right, so we're all set on YouTube now. We were looking at the floor plan. We were looking at the streaming thing for a little bit there. But we worked it out. I got the Revit up on the big screen now so that I can really get a good view of the project streaming to Instagram. But I normally was doing it on my main laptop screen, so the display was set to that one. I'm going to add some windows and doors today. And I'm pretty excited just to keep working on this, figure out what materials it wants to have, what details it wants to have, let it really speak to me, you know, bring itself to life. I feel like we need a little bit of background music We tried it last week. It's so bright because my screen is so bright and I'm looking at white backgrounds right now. Let's see. Let's see if this background music is good. So last time it had words and I didn't really like that, so I'm going for a softer ambient background noise so it's just not dead silent when I'm not talking. Alright, so I feel like that's a good volume for us to work to. Let's go to the top plate level and look at our roof, and let's add a dormer. I want to try and break up this really long facade with a dormer, maybe a few dormers, maybe one dormer on one side and a few dormers on the other side. So do I want to do like a gable dormer, or do I want to do a shed dormer here? Let us do, I think it's going to be better if it's a shed dormer, so I'm only going to check off this for now. And I'm going to have it, the front face align with this just to see where it is on the project. And then I'll probably push it back depending on where that front wall wants to be. So now I'm just dimensioning. I want to make sure that it's in the center, so I'm going to put this 12 feet and I'm going to put this at 12 feet. And whatever that gives me, it gives me, that's a pretty long dormer. So let's set this higher now. Let's set it, I don't know, 4 feet. And we're going to need to change the pitch to be something really shallow, like maybe even a 3 here. And what I'm looking at right now is just how it breaks up this facade and how it breaks up the side profile. It's also adding a whole bunch of usable space to the second floor. I want to see what it looks like raised a little bit higher. I do want it to attach to this roof, so I am going to use the roof join tool just to make sure that I don't move it higher than the roof ridge of this roof, because this is what happens, is it just cuts it off if there's nothing to connect it to, and that means you have raised it up a little too high. Alright, so let's just move this down, I don't know, 2 feet. I actually like that because it, obviously you're never going to see the project in 2D in real life, but I love that in 2D it kind of aligns with, doesn't kind of, it actually aligns with where this ridge is, and it just feels good there, and I like it. So I think I'm going to keep it there. Do I want it to extend all the way out? So if I do extend it all the way out, the wall will probably be in the same space. I don't really know if that's what I'm looking for, but let's just try it out. I'm gonna copy this wall because I don't know if I want to move it in or out, so I don't just want to drag this outer wall up here because I think I'm gonna push the top wall back. So for now, I'm just gonna copy and paste. So I copied it to my clipboard, I'm aligning to the current view, it's gonna say something's overlapping, that's fine. I feel like I need to create a video of like all the warnings that Revit gives you. Revit's always giving me warnings, and I'm always just like, go away. Your boundary isn't closed, your wall's highlighted. I mean, it's good because it's alerting me to some things that are important, but at this point I've been using Revit for 8 years, and I pretty much know when it's going to give me an error, and I'm just like, okay, we got to get through this. Let's get through it together. I know it's not a closed boundary. I know. Bear with me. It will be. So, let's attach this. I don't even know what that noise was that I just made. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna bring this in. I can't even see the roof. See if I can turn. Can we look up at the roof? I don't see the dormer. There we go. So I just changed the underlay settings to look up, and then there's no unbounded view, so just like look up forever. And now we can see our dormer outline. So I'm just gonna bring the walls here. And I'm gonna look at this again, wrong view. So I don't really know. I feel like, let's look at it from the other side before I say this, because I'm not sure. So I can't decide which side it would look better on. So I feel like because this is the main face and we have this secondary smaller bump out for the entry here, that this is almost like denser on this side. It feels heavier because there's a little bit more going on volumetrically, and it makes me feel like it's balanced when I have another extra thing on this side of the project. And then I go here, and this is a larger wall. It kind of feels just correct to have this on the larger side as opposed to over here. What we could do is we could mirror this and just see what it's going to look like, see if it feels better on the other side. I'm just doing mirror. I'm selecting the midpoint of this wall. Just kidding, I don't want to do that. I don't want to select the midpoint of that wall because it's not the midpoint of the whole project. I don't even have a midpoint of the whole project right now, so it's okay. I'm just going to mirror it off a spot that's kind of in the center. It should have been straight. I can probably mirror it in elevation, actually, from the center. Beautiful. So I'm just going to click these real quick and do HH, which is temporarily hide, so we can sort of feel how it looks on the front elevation. So that's what it's giving. And can I hide these ones? That's the first option. So I feel like this feels better proportionally and mass-wise, and I really like how that looks connecting to that. You know, if it was on this side, it aligns in the same way. Oh, it doesn't actually. I mean, it could. This is just a lower, right? I could just lower this like that, and it could align. I mean, if you really want it to be fancy, you could do both of them. But I really think that, oh yeah, look at that. I don't like the way it looks on this side. Obviously, this side, it would be centered. This roof is centered on this front and this front, so when I mirrored it, it's really only mirroring the exact location. And if I were to do a dormer on this side, I think I would move it obviously to the center, even though it wouldn't be on the center of this. So right now I'm trying to decide, like, which side of the project do I want this big long dormer to be on? Which side does it feel more proportioned and balanced on? And which side do I see moving forward with? I think that I need to move this sort of to the middle to get a full understanding of what it would look like. It's about the middle. And I need to hide this HH temporarily and just get a feel for it. So I feel like because this is the front of the project. I'm assuming this is going to be a street face, you know, the front of the house typically faces the street. So it just feels like it should be on the left side. I don't know why. Just feels more balanced. I think it's because when you're looking at the house from the front, this is such a long portion from this first bump out all the way back is so far away, and there's nothing breaking it up. Whereas on this side, yes, there's probably an equal distance from this face to this one back here, but it doesn't feel as long because this front is pushed in and this is broken up. So from this side, from the front, it really doesn't feel as much of a roof expanse, even though in reality it is with this in the back. But because it's in the back and we don't really see it from the street side, I feel like it feels more appropriate on the other side. So I hope that that makes sense. I'm trying to explain my thought process as I go through and sort of make these design decisions. While also trying to explain to you guys what I'm doing in Revit and why I'm choosing to do that. So I'm gonna unhide, and isn't that cute? So now the question is, do I want it to be centered from there to there, or do I want it to be centered on this roof? I think I'm gonna leave it centered on the main roof. I like the way it looks. Now I need to decide if I want this wall to be in line with the wall below. So let's start off small. Let's just put it in 2 feet. Picture that cut off here. 2 feet feels like a little bit too much, so maybe a foot. I feel like that looks better. I don't necessarily like just stacking the wall on top. If you're absolutely like desperate for square footage, of course maximize the space, but if you have room to kind of set this top dormer wall back a foot, I feel like it just adds more depth to the project. And sometimes having like different push and pulls on the facade really make it feel like more intentional. Like you didn't just copy and paste the wall up. You sort of thought about the proportion of the space and what you wanted to do with it. But like I said, if your customer is like trying to max out that space, they're probably gonna want you to just not even waste square footage and just move the wall back out to align with below. So I'm gonna go back to the top plate. I'm gonna hit edit roof print, and I'm gonna bring this in, and then I'm gonna extend it a foot, and I'm gonna close that, and then I'm gonna extend these walls. So I'm gonna draw in side walls, and then I'm gonna dimension it, and I'm gonna edit the dimension so that we're able to just easily move everything 1 foot inside the roof so that our sides have a 1 foot overhang. Okay. So I definitely want the stud to align with the edge of it, and then from there it's a 1 foot offset. So I'm always measuring from like studs or wooden points, never from like a gyp or exterior point. I'm gonna move that in. We're gonna move this in once it's aligned to the edge. I normally wear blue light glasses when I'm modeling, or like in general using a computer, but specifically Revit, just because it's so white. They actually came out with a you could switch it and make it like a gray screen, kind of like an AutoCAD color. Personally, I feel like that feels better on my eyes, but my screen in general on my laptop is super, super bright. So I am like always wearing my blue light glasses, and I'm not right now because I don't want the glare in the video. So I apologize if I'm like, oh my god, I can't see, because it is bright. And it's like, ugh. But it's okay. So we have our walls in place. Let's look at this from the side. Beautiful. Let's connect. Let's connect these. Automatically cuts it. We got the wall on the wrong side, so I'm just going to select it. Hide this, select this. Space bar to flip it real quick. So my exterior material's on the exterior. And then I'm gonna make the dormer cut. So right now there is a roof behind here, and obviously a dormer, you're cutting away the roof. So before I make the dormer cut, I do want to take a section and just sort of investigate what these heights are that I've just created. So I want this to be a usable second story space. So it looks like this wall. My house makes weird noises sometimes, and water like flushes down a pipe that's in the wall. So I apologize if my extraordinary mic picks up on that, because it's literally so close to us. It distracts me sometimes. Maybe you guys wouldn't have noticed it. Maybe you wouldn't have noticed it, but I noticed it. It kind of throws me off. So this point is going to be 6'3". That's actually a lot more than I thought it was going to be. This was a great wall to put a window in and like to sit here and make a reading nook or something. I can really envision doing like a built-in here. Oh look, our little archway. I love it. I love it. Our little kitchen. I can really envision like modeling out this one and doing like a cute little bench space and thinking about some of those interior details a bit more. I do feel like the cut is kind of weird. Where am I cutting? It's like showing me almost 2 peaks. Oh, this is the one in front. And it's because this wall is cut. Okay. So let's edit the profile. And actually bring it all the way around to match. Because right now, I made the profile of it cut around the roof, but there would actually be a wall there. So that's why I can see beyond it. Now you can't. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. And I feel like, honestly, let's see the floor plan. In this little space right here, I feel like we could do a faux, like, cathedral on the inside. And maybe, like, skylights here. Oh my god. I'm gonna write that so I don't forget about it. Skylights to the kitchen. I feel like when you have an idea, you just gotta jot it down. When I was in architecture school, I would come up with ideas like at night. Nighttime is like my shining hour. Okay, my brain is powering at 110% the second the sun goes down. That's just who I am. So architecture school and me, we really worked well together, because I'm a night owl, and long nights are a notorious part of the architecture culture. I would always get ideas, and it's like late at night, so I'm not necessarily gonna want to use my laptop and pull it out and like stimulate my brain with the blue light. But I would always have trace paper or a sketchbook, and I would just sketch. I'm not a good sketcher, but I would sketch ideas. I'd write notes, be like, I'm really like a writer. I feel like I definitely like to communicate through written word, and I would do that a lot of the time over like a sketch, just sort of jotting down what I do. And even like that's how I am even now. Like if I'm creating a piece of content, like I'm not necessarily like storyboarding with a sketch of what I want each frame to be or telling the story visually. I plan for it like in words. I'll be like, oh, do this, do that, pan this way, switch shot over here, like verbal direction on what I want it to be. So I think that's kind of interesting. But let me take the midpoint. This is an intense background music. I feel like I need to tone it down a little bit. It's giving me chills. It's so dramatic. I want to find the midpoint. So yeah, when I get ideas, I just like need to jot it down. I'm very much a writer, not a sketcher. Written communication, verbal communication. It's my thing. So that's the center point. And we're gonna want this to be like that. And of course, this is just like a reference lines. They're not reference lines in Revit. They're actually detail lines, which are 2D lines. And I use them to create reference lines for myself within a project. I think there is a way to like actually create reference lines, but I don't utilize them. I think it's that's reference plane, which we use. I feel like even with I could have sworn there was like a reference line thing, but regardless, I use detail lines. I have always done that. It's view dependent, so my sketchy little lines that I'm using to draw out whatever I need to use as like a reference point, I can just erase it and it doesn't necessarily go into a different view. I really feel like this is a great opportunity with this space to create a faux cathedral. So this would be built out and it would take away from some of the usable space on this top floor. So we would have to think about that, but it looks like, you know, it's pretty, let's take a measurement. It's pretty equal distance, so I feel like you could still do the faux cathedral ceiling on top of having a usable space in the attic, like finishing this secondary level. The CAD plan is below it, so the bed is not in the same spot as the CAD plan, and some of the other details aren't in yet, but that's the CAD plan. I'm just gonna hide it because it's kind of confusing. So we have 10.5 over here and then 15.5 over here. So we actually have a wider depth on this side, which means we're really going to be able to use both spaces. If I take a dimension from this wall to here, it's 14.9. So inside from inside, the dimensions I took, this was from the center of the wall and this is from the outside, so it is accounting for a little bit more than I measured here, which is gyp to gyp, so the clear distance of the room. Honestly, this is going to have to be walled off because this would be like a weird element here. Wouldn't it be cool if like you could build, I feel like if rafters can hold snow, like a snow load, you think they could hold people? I'm just thinking like if we do like a faux cathedral here, like could we like build out, I don't know, it's kind of steep, right? Could you build out like a bench or something, like seating, then you're like sitting up here? Is that too far away though? Like, you might as well just put a bench in the dormer nook. Yeah, maybe I'm getting a little too crazy, okay? A little too crazy. Skylights to the kitchen, inner cathedral. We're just gonna extend this wall up, maybe? Like, do we want to just I feel like I should save. We've done almost 30 minutes of work and I have not saved once. So let's take a save break. I'm really picturing how this is gonna work. Like, would I just put a wall up there? We would need a collar tie, so let me see what this distance is, if we need a truss or not. And I only know, like, are we gonna need a truss? Are we gonna need LVLs? Are we gonna need I-joists? The code book in America has, like, general span charts for floors, roofs, all those things. And if you can't do it out of a 2x, like a 2x12, you have to then just go and Google, like, I-joists, and companies will have entire pamphlets you can go through, and they'll have their own independent span charts for their I-joist product. So for this is 2610. That is a huge span. So if I didn't want... I feel like I could just do a truss, because I want to make this an inner cathedral. I think it's going to be really cool. Emily is obsessed with kitchens, so she'll make the kitchen nice. That's not my thing. I don't care where your spice rack goes. Don't ask me where your spice rack goes, because I don't have any interest. Ask me about your exterior. We'll talk for days. But the second you ask me about your kitchen drawers, and that's Emily. So I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to decide on the fly about what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do. But I'm going to put that wall back. I'm going to create... And I'm going to show everyone how to do that. I feel like dormer cuts... People think they're hard. They can be hard. The first time I did it, I feel like it took me a really long time. But you just select the roof after you've selected the dormer. I always put it to wireframe. That might be kind of hard to see. But I select the roof, and it's going to pick that outline where it's intersecting with the other roof. And then I'm going to select the interface of all the exterior walls. And... it's going to cut around this boundary that I'm creating. So all I have to do now is use the trim tool, and I can just trim up that opening, and now it's a closed boundary, and now I can go back and turn it to hidden line and hide this roof temporarily. And now we have our dormer cut. So something that I have been learning is I actually like the dormer cut on the outside face. And that's just because when I look at a section, I don't want to be able to see this. I want the wall and this to not intersect, so that when I take a section, this wall is just the wall. So, I'm going to edit the dormer cut, and I'm just going to move this. Oh, it won't let me move it. I think I can just pick. Yeah, so I'll pick these outside faces, actually. I'm not too worried about picking the inside face here. And I'm going to do trim again. It's really figuring out, like, oh, that looks best. Oh, this looks best. Oh, if I do it this way, I can avoid X, Y, and Z when I'm in my drawings. I'm curious why I can see, like exterior siding material. Because my section's taken like right through here, so it's weird that when I go to my section, this is showing the exterior material. Just because it's not actually like that in 3D. Like, that's a white wall. So, wonder if something's off or overridden. I don't know why something would be overridden. Nope. Let's check our visibility graphics. So there is a template on this, so that could be why. I just removed the template, and now I'm going to check with my VV command on the keyboard what these walls are set to. They have no graphic override, so I'm not really sure what's... Let me see where my cut is on this floor. Whoops, I went in the wrong direction. Okay. So yeah, this wasn't showing up in my top plate view because this over here, hide in scales coarser than, it was set to a view setting that is equal to the one that it currently was. So this is literally set to half of an inch, which I would never place a floor plan on a sheet at half an inch, but that's just what this view is set to. And so the section marker was not showing up because it was set to only show them in like a 3/8, which is anything under a 3/8. So the half scale would be outside of that parameter, and therefore the section marker wasn't showing up even though it was on in all of my view settings. I actually had that problem the other day. I was like, why aren't my section markers, this is something I just learned, why aren't my section markers working? Alright, so I took the section right before this wall, so that would be why I can see the exterior. I am going to move it, and now it should be correct, which it is. I'm gonna go to the top plate, see what's going on with this wall. You know, we don't have this walled off. We have this wall here because we have this wall. So technically, like, this roof that's in this space behind it, let's see if we can look at it better in 3D. That can't really be anything because the roof is at such a low pitch. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a new wall, and I'm going to align it with this one, and I'm just gonna trim this and block this off. Oh, roof cut openings in my way. Let's go to 3D, see what that's doing. Obviously I'd want to attach that, but I really want it to show up in floor plan, not being... Oh. Okay. That was better. Have those walls hidden so you can't see them right now, but I'm gonna unhide it. Can't believe we've been doing this for 30 minutes. And we haven't even added windows. We've just been talking about design, dormers. We started getting ideas in section. So let me edit the profile of this wall. I'm going to edit it to come right out in front of this wall. And then I'm going to edit it to follow this and follow this. And then I'm going to trim it up, clean it up, and get rid of some of these extra lines I don't need. So I'm really just following like the profile of what this wall is going to be. It's going to come in at an angle where that roof intersects, and then it's going to come straight down to align with this wall. And then that's how it looks. It was joined, so it just shifted when I closed it because I unjoined it to that top roof. And that's just because I went in and drew the angle. I basically reshaped the entire wall, so any connection point that it had ends up being null and void because I'm just shaping the wall. I don't know actually like why it's doing this now because I just fixed it. Everyone saw I just fixed it. Maybe if I uncheck, yeah, I don't know. Let's move some of this over. I don't know why. Line associated with joined face has been moved. I would like it to not be moved. Maybe it's because this wall was connected. Maybe let me disconnect this wall. Is that the wall that's giving me some issues? Sometimes it's just trial and error. Is this the wall that's giving me issues? Is this the wall that's giving me issues? Something's giving me issues. Something's connected and Revit is not liking it. It's pulling my wall up. I don't really know if it's necessary to have that wall even be super accurate right now. Just gonna bring that down. Like we're not working in this section right now, so I am just going to leave it. I'm gonna reset the profile. I'm gonna attach it. And I'm gonna attach it to this one. Oh, it won't attach to that one. And I'm gonna bring it in. So I think that actually works, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to attach this wall again. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I just was testing it out to see if that sort of helped me. But I think this wall is okay, just attaching to the main roof. Is it attached to the main roof? I think it's attached to both because if I hit detach, yeah, that's what it does. So if I hit this, and then I hit this, it doesn't really do anything. So this right here would be a little bit of gyp, and this wall piece, this line right here wouldn't really be there, but I'm gonna leave it for now. Alright, so I do need to fix the dormer cut, because that's not correct. This wall is looking good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mirror my good wall. Just kidding, I'm gonna pick draw mirror axis. Beautiful. It was not the exact center though, so it wasn't that beautiful. What is going on? The center of my roof here, come on. Here we go. Perfect. Then we just go to attach it. Perfect. I do need to add some windows. Need to add some windows because it's not looking too spicy right now. I feel like I'm gonna add maybe some metal. This will be a metal roof because it's a 3-pitch and you can't really do shingles on a 3-pitch. Let's see what a 4-pitch looks like. Just for fun. Just for fun. Oh, it misses the target at a 4, so that means it'd have to be way lower than at a 4-pitch. It misses the peak, so we're gonna leave it. That's a sign to just leave it because it's not gonna work. We do it another way. Let's hide the dormer. Cut element. So yeah, it's so cute. Like our cute little space right here. And let me see if I can edit this profile. I'm like obsessed with fixing this profile right now, even though I really don't need to be. If it doesn't work this time, I promise I'm moving on. I did copy the other one, but because we're not taking a section looking in that direction, I don't really care that, like, it's perfectly fine. I'm just literally being extra right now, trying to make it 100% when it doesn't really need to be. I just want it to look good and accurate. Yeah, okay, so unjoin. So it does keep doing that. I'm just gonna undo what I did. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Oh, I can just exit out of this, cancel. Yeah, and I'm gonna leave my wall like this. And in reality, like how I would reconcile this, we would get to this when we start doing like documents for this project. I don't know if that is interesting to stream. Like, I will be doing documents for this project, but I don't know if I'll be streaming the document process here, just because I feel like I'm not convinced that would be something people would want to watch. Me doing like a construction set level of drawings. But I do plan on doing construction sets for all of my little projects I do. So that, my video got paused. Had to restart it there. So it's flickering. Let me just go right over it. And then I would just pin it so I don't accidentally like move it, because it's so easy to move it if you do that. And that's what I would do. Boom. It doesn't work. It doesn't want to work. Work around it. It's not that big of a deal. I just was curious to see if it would do the profile after I changed things around a little bit, but it didn't. So that's how we fix it. And on the other side, again, it's fine. It's connected exactly where it needs to be. I'm going to run this wall in line with this one and just create this closed off space up here. So we know, because we have the underlay for the floor above on, I'm also going to hide this roof dormer opening cut. It'll show up in your view, and honestly, I've clicked on it before by accident, and I just always choose to click on it and hide it in the view, because if I don't do it, it can get in the way. Before I forget, I am going to go into 3D, and I'm going to select the dormer cut. I'm just going to edit it again to select the outside wall. So in the beginning, when I first did this, I was like, oh yeah, select all the inside walls. And then I realized, oh, in my section, it's not going to look correct. So I actually have to select the exterior side of the walls. And that's why, because now we're going to go to the section, and it's cutting perfectly where that wall is. So as of right now, the roofs aren't exactly at the top plate height. Like, it sets the edge of the roof at the top plate line. But in reality, the top plate is a piece of wood. So, and where the corner of the piece of wood, the stud, meets the rafter, which is also a wood stud, at the corner. So I want to add windows, but I don't want to pick windows that are going to be too tall if my top plate heights are wrong. Thankfully, this entire mass of roofs that are doing different things I will select once and they will all move down. So I go to the section here and we're going to figure out where this roof needs to be accurately on this top plate line, because this is not it. So I just did a detail line. I love those, as we all know. And we're going to do a detail component, and we're going to just grab a piece of blocking 2x6. And a top plate is generally 2x6s. Again, I'm in the United States of America, so I would assume construction's pretty similar around the world, but I cannot speak to that necessarily. So I always draw a reference line because I want to be able to select the intersection right here. And if I don't have a line drawn here, it won't necessarily let me select the intersection. So see, on this side, it's not picking up. It's only picking up on the outside of the wall. It's not picking up on that inner. So I always draw a reference line, and then it allows me to grab that point. And that point is where I want the corner of my stud to be. So it's saying the roof can't be joined. I gotta unjoin it. It's because I lowered it's looking crazy. I'm gonna have to fix all my walls because I made them all special. But it's okay. We live. That is how I place the top plate. And then I just go join. Or I edit the cut. So because I went and just lowered the roof to correctly sit at the right top plate height, I'm just going to edit the opening of those walls that I had changed to match. And I'm just going to pull that in, pull this in. It should just be a few changes, pulling these walls in. I'm going to create a dormer top plate now. Now that we have our dormer in. And a lot of this is like me genuinely like showing you how I go through a design process, but also with the constructability and accuracy of the constructability in my mind as I'm going through these things. So because I lowered this, this is lower. So things are changing, you know, based on the fact that the roof has been lowered to accurately depict where it needs to be for a top plate of 8.6. So I'm really happy that I didn't just continue to move forward and like pick out windows and start placing windows, even though that's really fun. It makes the model look different faster. If I'd made really tall windows and then they necessarily didn't fit when I moved the roof lower, that would have like set me back further in my workflow. Like, yes, I could just change all the window heights in one go if I edit the family, but I don't have to go through the process of that step of changing them, lowering the sill heights, figuring out, oh no, this was wrong. How am I going to get my windows and my headers in this space? I really like the proportion of the window. I got to lower it. I got to change the height of it, you know, all those things. So, and it's like if you show the client a window and they're like, oh my God, I actually really love the placement of that window. I love the height of the window. I love the sill height of the window. And then you're like, whoops, I didn't have the top plate right. So we're actually going to need to make changes to that. I just like to be as, like, this is what you get. This is what you can get, and it's buildable, and it's correct. I closed my YouTube at some point, which is fine because we are approaching an hour on the live. And if we ran out of our ambient background music, that is okay. We will be hopping off very, very soon. I just want to wrap up this section of placing the roofs on the correct top plate. I might throw in a few windows just because, like, I do want it to look like I did more than just throw the dormer on it in today's live. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just the process. It doesn't look like you've made a lot of progress in the model, but you actually have, because you're thinking about things sectionally and adding things in floor plan and figuring out all of the things. I don't know why this wall and this wall are appearing differently here. Couldn't tell ya. Couldn't tell ya. Alright, let's attach some of these things here. Get everything looking more correct than it was. So this might be another instance of me needing to draw the face of this wall to show up in this top plate view. Yeah, see here, I technically would want that to run across, or a wall to run across here in general. So I feel like I could actually like have it run the full length and close off this space with this other wall. I think that works. So I'm going to go back to the 3D. I'm going to edit this profile. I'm going to come across. And I think I nailed it and where the floor line will be. But when I actually place a floor, I'll be able to tell. So, actually, I think I can figure it out by doing this, maybe? It's fine. I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to do that, leave it for now. We're going to go to the top plate view, and voila. We have our wall. We have our wall. So this is cutting through, this is the top plate. So I probably would create a second floor out of the top plate view, but I would raise it up, because where is it cutting right now? I'm not looking in the right spot. It is at the top plate, up 4 feet. So it's at the top plate, up 4 feet, cutting through. Yeah, okay, that's good. Finished floor, finished second level floor will be another view that does get created. When I place a second floor, I will add a level marker that says top of second floor. And at that point, I will be able to generate another plan view taken from the second floor instead of the top plate level. I don't know why this is. Oh, I do know why, because I edited this wall. Didn't I? Didn't I? That was a filled region I did. Alright, so I'm gonna hide the dormer opening because it's in my way. And then I'm going to adjust these front walls again because I am editing the profile instead of attaching these ones. That's funky, huh? Well, that's funky. Let's clean that up. Alright. And then these should just attach. I think they unattached because we raised it up. So we will select this roof tool over here and we'll select this back wall. I don't know why it's saying the roof cannot be joined because we weren't having issues with that before. But then we just moved the roof and now we're sort of having technical difficulties with it. Did I delete the dormer opening? Roof opening. The roof cut, I bet you, didn't move with it either. It looks like it did, but I'm actually I don't think it might have not moved with it, because it doesn't look like it's cutting through. So I think I'm gonna have to remake the roof opening. So this is a golden nugget moment of always put your roof at the top plate level before you start changing it, because I've had to redo all these little things that I wouldn't have to redo if my roofs were in the right spot. Could have raised the top plate level and left them where it was, but I was like, nah, doing it for the lesson of the order of things you should do things in. I'm like not perfect, and this is a great example of like me showing you the reality of going through design and workflow. So it's part of the process. I don't know why I can't see this wall. Like, what is going on? Is it attached? It's attached to the wrong one. There it is on the inside. Okay. I don't know why this isn't working either. Let's detach. That's not even attached. Alright. And let's see if this little bugger will work. Roof cannot be joined. Why not? You were joining before. Let's reset this profile. Attach it. See, now that worked. Without having me... I had to edit the profile before. I don't remember on the last live why it wasn't working. So I just was like, whatever, I'll just edit the profile. Now it's working. The join, the attach tool. So that's great. And that just made that work. So that's also great. Let's just attach. It's always best to attach. Like, I don't love doing the edit profile thing. But for some reason, the last time I was working on this project, it would not let me do... It would not let me connect the wall correctly. So, alright. Oh my god, we have all this space in here. What if this whole thing was like vaulted when you walked in? I'm going crazy with my ideas here. That'd be weird. Would it be weird though? Like a little vaulted ceiling action in this hallway, and then bam, the fake cathedral in this space. Maybe just over the kitchen, like probably not the whole run of this, and then some skylights, and then we have the kitchen, then we have this area over here that we could even do something with. Who knows? Let's put that back. Okay, so all of our walls have now been adjusted correctly. We're doing great. We got to do our roof dormer opening real quick again, and then I got to pop some windows in here because it's literally going to look like I didn't do a single thing this live when I post my little caption picture, my progress picture that I do at the end of each live. It's going to be like, oh, she just added a dormer and some walls. Oh, she was live for an hour? What did this crazy girl do the whole time? Chatted your ear off. We had fun. We're hanging out because we're besties. I don't know what else to say. Okay. And then, of course, my wall is all the way out in space. Can't create the boundary. Probably because I don't even know what I just selected. Oh. I've been sitting here with not very good posture, and I just stretched, and I was like, whoa. Why isn't it working? Pick. Can't create a boundary from your pick. Why not? Am I picking the right wall? Weird. Okay, let me exit. I think I need to unjoin this before. Okay. We're gonna go in for the dormer opening again. We're gonna pick the roof. We're gonna pick all the exterior walls. We can do it. We can do it. I'm not sure if I selected... Yeah, I selected the wrong side. I feel like this might be one of the longest lives I've ever done. But I'm having fun. It doesn't even feel like I've been here for an hour hanging out. Alright. We have a dormer opening. Do we want to move this down to 6 feet? We do. We do. Let's move it. Okay, and then I can delete my reference lines, which are really just design lines, as we know. It's weird. Cut through right there. Okay. It's looking beautiful. It's looking so beautiful. I don't feel like these walls are aligned right now. They are. Weird trick of the light. Just kidding. It is not a trick of the light. So we'll do that. The corner is gonna be weird right there if I don't edit the profile of it. But for now, maybe I'll just leave it. Is editing the profile didn't work the first 4 times I tried. Now that my roofs are different, maybe I'll try one more time. Really should be adding those windows, but I'm like, no, I need to make sure these roofs are Gucci before I move on. It's the perfectionist in me. Truly is. I feel like it's a blessing and a curse sometimes, especially with architecture, because I'm like, oh, sometimes you don't have the time to be a perfectionist, Melissa. Sometimes you don't have the time. I don't know why this isn't working. I don't know why it isn't working. Why are you moving? Oh. Interesting. Is it because this is connected? Oh. Is this associated with the center of the wall, bro? What? No way. It's because of that the whole time, because those walls are joined. Crazy. Crazy, bro. That was why. Because look, this wall, they're connected. They're joined to these walls going in the other direction. And so it's showing up the sketch, the center of the wall, because it's joined. So when I moved the center of the wall back, it moved the whole wall back a little bit. And that's why it was off. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I was like, why isn't this working? All right. I'm excited. I'm hyped. I didn't give up. I was like, I know this can work. I know this can work. We can make it work. So I'm deleting that one. And now I'm just going to do a little mirror like we did before. I don't know like what happens in my underlay. What happens in my dormer? I need my midpoint of my dormer so I can mirror, because this wall is not the midpoint right now. I guess I'll just trust it. Huh. Boom. That was a really lucky guess. Alright. That's beautiful. I'm going to pin these walls, because I hate how they're like easily movable sometimes. Which other ones did I edit? This one, I'm going to pin that. This one I edited, I'm going to pin that. And all the other ones that are joined, those are fine. It's just one that I like manipulated that I'm like locking. Putting on lock. Putting on lock. Alright. What a gorgeous section. What a gorgeous section we have going on. Everything is accurate. Everything is beautiful. Okay, we're gonna do this out of a truss, so yeah, that'll be fine. You know, a lot of people don't even think about how a building is gonna be put together. They just let the structural engineer do that, and that's great. That's what structural engineers are there for. But I feel like you should have like a basic understanding of how it's gonna be built, if it even can be built easily. But that's just me. That's just me. You should at least know what a top plate is. You should at least know. And I feel like this disconnection between construction, like basic construction, obviously you don't need to be like an expert at wood frame construction, just like understanding the terminology and how things work on like a basic level will help you so much when you're starting out in Revit, or like even if you're deep into your Revit journey and you were just using Revit in school to model fake projects and you didn't need to care about the constructability of it. Because that's what it was like for me. Like, I created fake projects obviously for school. Didn't need to be constructible, didn't need to be like accurate in that way. And then when I got to practice, I really knew how to use Revit. I didn't know how to put a building together accurately. So being able to combine those two, thankfully I didn't have to learn Revit and the construction at the same time. I came in knowing Revit. I had that under my belt at least. Like, I could be an asset in that way. And then I just really had to focus on learning on the construction side of things and terminology and all that. But I feel like if you're not used to using Revit and you're not used to hearing construction terms, it's going to be like even more of a shock when you start in practice. And so I really think if you start off in Revit also learning like what you're drawing and what you're building, like the construction terms along the journey of this, it makes it a lot easier. It's a symbiotic relationship, and the two categories of construction and the building in Revit, they go hand in hand together because we want to model an accurate building. Like, this program is set up for that. So that's why I teach it like that in Revit Foundations, which is my group course. I teach you about the construction of something in a way that you are understanding how something's built and you're also understanding how to do it in Revit. So it's very similar to like how I'm going through and modeling with you here. It's more structured, you know, there's modules, there's a list of tools we go through. It's a structured course, all right? So it is different than sitting here chatting with you live. But it's similar in the way that I'm explaining to you, oh, I'm doing this because this reason in construction, like the top plate thing we just dealt with. That's a perfect example of me explaining the constructability of something while we're also learning how to model it in Revit. So, symbiotic relationship, cohesive relationship. I'm going to save this. We're going to pop in a few windows and then we're going to head out. We've been on a live for an hour and 12 minutes. If you've been here the whole time, if you've watched us on 2 times speed at the replay, doesn't matter. Drop a comment below. If you have any ideas that have sparked for the design of this, drop them below. Doesn't matter if it's on the replay. I'm going to look. We're going to come back next week, as we always do, 7 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday nights. And we're going to have fun developing this project. I've been envisioning, like, because this is such a wide dormer, like, I might need to bring it in, but then I'm like, oh, I want to maximize the space because we are going to lose a little bit of the other half of the space due to the cathedral ceiling we're going to build in at some point. Not today. That's on the interior. I really want to get the exterior done before I start on the interior. So, let's go to triple. I want a triple. 2 triples. This is a 10-foot triple. Maybe do I just want to do 1 10-foot triple? Sometimes windows take way too long to place, and I'm like, what is happening? Okay, well, maybe a triple that's not, like, super tall. Super tall. Super tall. I feel like I'm just going to randomly place a few windows. Let's go to section. So I'm going to change this to 3'6" height. The width I think is fine for 8 feet. I don't think I really want to go bigger than 8 feet. I might just do 2. So I'm just raise this. Make sure there's room for a header under the top plate for my window. It does look a little weird on the face. I want it to be centered more. It's a little bit close to that edge. I think we're gonna need 2, so I don't think that looks terrible. I think it'll look better with like trim and like if this is batten board and not horizontal. So I am going to paint this white and break up some of the horizontal stuff going on. And I do think I want to make this stone, so I am just gonna ew, I don't like that. I have to upload a different hatch pattern. I don't think I want to use this like brick hatch pattern. But I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it. But I'm gonna maybe create a different stone pattern. I just know that I do want this volume to be a little bit different. Alright, I actually do like the way that looks. Let me check about this in section. So we are having only 7 inches. So that's 7 1/4, which is literally perfect for a 2x8 header to fit right in there. So like this is the little stuff that actually does matter when you're thinking about even placing the sill height of a window. Like, is this window actually going to fit in my wall space? Is there actually going to be room for me to put a header without interfering with my top plate? And 7 1/4 is a 2x8. That'll be perfect for this window. The sill is at 1 7 3/4. In America, if you have a window sill that is sitting lower than 1'6", the glass has to be tempered. So it has to be thicker, it's more expensive, and we generally try to avoid it for our clients that are not looking to spend any extra money when they don't have to. I think I'm just going to pop in like a few windows. Like I said, we've been online for a really long time, but I want it to look different. So I am just telling myself that it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter how long I'm on live for. Like, if I'm having fun, that's all that matters, and I'm having a blast. So double hung. Oh, twin double hung. Let's do 4/8/6. I feel like I just have a lot of standard sizes loaded in here. I want the master bedroom to have a lot of windows, but I don't know if 2 double hungs that are this wide, if that's gonna be too much for this space. I feel like it is. I might need to make the width smaller. I just place these 2 on top of each other. Let me see. So the width is 6 feet and the height's 4'8". Okay, so that's why. Let's do a width of 5 feet. And I think we could fit 2 doubles comfortably in here. Once I decide on like the height and width, I'll go in and rename it. I'm like so specific and on people about naming things. Like, if you change the size and you don't change the name, you and me have beef, because that is one of my biggest pet peeves. Change the name to match. Don't make me think that's a 4'8/6 window and then really I'm like, oh my god, it's actually a 5. Like, I want to know right away in the title what the size of my window is. So keep consistent. Have an organized Revit file. For the love of God. For the love of God. I need you to have an organized Revit file. I think that looks good. Looking good. Now that I had that brick pattern loaded in for stone by accident, I'm kind of like digging it. I'm kind of like, oh, maybe it is brick. Maybe it does want to be brick. Maybe this whole bottom portion wants to be brick. And then these 2 feet. Oh, that'd be kind of weird. That'd be kind of weird, I guess. Because there's no like break here. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we do a brick below. Okay, let's do create similar. Let's put a double window here. What does Emily have for the bathroom here? Let's look really quick. She has a shower here and like a vanity here, I'm thinking. So let's take this same window, pop it here in the bathroom. Obviously nothing's dimensioned, nothing's centered, nothing's evenly spaced. We're just simply placing windows to get a look and feel right now. This is the bathroom. This is where the tub's gonna be. So let's put a little awning, crank opened, awning. Let's get an awning window, transom, that's fine. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. This one doesn't even have a name on the size. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I already know I want to change that to at least be 2 feet. Okay. Now we can align these heads. Align the head. Right, well, that's close enough for now. I almost feel like this should be centered on this. So let me go to an east elevation. Okay, let's just put that there. See what it looks like in floor plan. Delicious. All right. I need to hide this again, the CAD file, so I'm not like dimensioning to it by accident. So this is perfectly centered. So even though it's like a weird fraction, I'm not actually gonna really dimension that in real life, so it's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Looking good. And now let's see. This is kind of weird. So is there a way to center this? Again, with my reference lines, I'm telling you, I cannot live without them. So it does shift that a little bit, but I think it's okay because it's going to be in the bathroom anyways. Maybe we could put a little shelf or something on this side that's bigger to make it feel a little balanced. Yeah, I think that is looking good. I think we need like a window here for this bedroom. And then we'll be able to move on. I don't love having the bed here, but I also don't love the idea of walking in and seeing like your bed if there's a window here. So undecided on if there's gonna be windows on this face, but I feel like the front of the house, you need them, so we'll have to figure out what's gonna be best. All right, that's it for now, folks. I'm signing off. We'll continue this next week. You know where to find me. YouTube, Instagram, Architecture Unbound.